this week for Manchester City is key. We keep saying it every week, don't we? Is everything okay? No pressure, says Andre Jeglertz?
Well, there is pressure, but I think in many ways a similar pressure to what they've had all season. Last week their performance wasn't up to scratch, and I think that's led to a lot of feeling that pressure maybe is more than normal, and they've put themselves in a little bit more pressure today because of the result last week and because the performance wasn't to the standard they normally can show.
So many cliches we can throw at this. It's in their hands and the like. Has it just ramped up, and how would you appreciate that as a player?
I think pressure is a privilege, and to say there's no pressure, I don't agree with that. There's always pressure, especially when you're top of the table and you're trying to go and win something. So there's pressure, but pressure is not always a negative thing. So there has to be a positive to be in that position. But also there is those murmurings now, and Rachel's put it perfectly in terms of Arsenal now. They're thinking, could we? Potentially. But they've got to go and win today. It's as simple as that, sort of in terms of what needs to happen to continue. The philosophy doesn't change. Go and win games, go and win the title.
Looking at that run week by week, we've seen this multicoloured run squeezed down. But for Arsenal now, having gone out of the Champions League, does that shift things for them?
In a way, because initially you think maybe that's a negative and the feelings around that, and it probably will be. Look, they'll be very sad at the moment, those Arsenal players, and feel there's a missed opportunity. But also there's a fact now that if they see Man City drop points today, they'll go, it's on. We can go and get them. That will galvanise us. And we maybe saw it last season. Arsenal, they lost to Villa. And then in the Champions League, they went on that run. And I know it's slightly different because the Champions League, it's a cup competition, so winner stays on. You go in and win and you take care of your part, whereas they've got to rely on Man City to drop points. But it does make it more interesting.
Yeah, all the way to the end. This home record for Manchester City, when we look at it, has been phenomenal. I said only the third team, if they win today, to get 100%. What is it about the joy that gives them joy?
To have a flawless record, I think, at home up to this point is remarkable. And that's a reflection of the quality they've had. And that's why we say last week wasn't to the standard. And some of that was to do with the quality in possession, I felt, primarily. Yes, they conceded 3 goals, and that's not the level either. But I felt it was in possession that wasn't the usual relentlessness. And when they play at the Joy, I think naturally a lot of their players are more comfortable there because it's home. But it's also a perfect surface. And, you know, that just favours the type of players they have. The Hasegawas, the Hemps, Kerolins, Fujino, who, you know, technically they're so superior in how they play. You put them on a perfect surface, the errors are less, and that puts the opposition on the back foot.
Yeah, we're expecting it to rock today as well in terms of just having their fans behind them. Any issues potentially for Manchester City, do you see?
Well, I think Miedemar not being in. I did the game last week, and I think they struggled with that. I think when you look at Kerolin, I think she's better in wide areas. So my argument is, yes, you've not got Viv in there and you need to try and change it for the 10. But then I would personally have still have kept Kerolin out wide, because by keeping Kerolin in the middle and then putting Fujino in a wide area, I think you've almost got the worst out of both of them. So at least get the best out of one player, because when it changes, you know, like I say, with not having Miedemar in there, it's going to be difficult. But I would love to see Kerolin White. I don't think that'll be the case. I think they'll set up very similar, but we'll see. Maybe Andre Jeglertz might surprise me.
Do you want to hear from him?
I would love to.
Let's see if he surprises you. Andre Jeglertz has been chatting to Ellie.
Well, Andre, there's an amazing atmosphere for what is another very exciting chapter in this title race. You can't lift the trophy here today, but tell us, how's this week been following your trip to Brighton?
Yeah, it's been, of course, it was a tough game last week. We played against a good team. We were not playing on our best level, but at the same time, it's still, we have everything in our own hands, and it's been a very excited group the whole week, and just waiting for this game for a couple of days now.
Speaking this week, you've said you need to keep the emotion out of the performance. I imagine that's easier said than done. How do you park that pressure, park that emotion, and nail that performance today?
We can't keep the emotions out of it, but we can still do the things that we are supposed to do, and it will be the same today, that emotions will always be there, but players and coaches just need to make sure that we focus on what we're going to do and don't letting that affect the performance. Today we can use a little bit of the emotions because we play in this amazing stadium with a lot of people. The atmosphere will be great, so a little of it we're definitely going to use.
I mean, there's a definite buzz here today. A lot of talk about the title race, but Liverpool are going to have their own agenda, a much improved side. What are you expecting to see from them here this afternoon?
No, they have done a very good spring. So I am fully aware that it will be a tough game for us. With good individual players, a game style that is challenging. So we are definitely going to be exposed, and especially I think that who's winning the center of the field will be important, and that's where I hope that we have an advantage of the players we're having there.
I mean, you mentioned good individual players for Liverpool, but Sam Coffey, she's back in, the one change that you make this week, and what a difference she's been making for you.
Yeah, I think it's a great player, great character. She's used to playing these kind of games before with both national and club team, so she's an important player for us in that sense, but she's also a leader, communicating a lot on the field and gives other players also a calmness, I think.
How the league ends is up to us. That's what you've been saying this week. Has that been your message to the team? Tell us, give us a little peek of what you've been saying to the girls.
Yeah, I think it is about that, and we need to see this game as a game of opportunities, because it is, and nothing has changed in that matter. We need to win our 2 games that is left, and then it will go as we hope. But if we don't, yeah, it's only up to us.
Last home game of the season and a chance to be completely unbeaten at home this season. What an amazing achievement that would be.
Yeah, that would be amazing, and that's also something that we just need to try for.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He sort of said it in the negative after Brighton. You know, if we just stick to the game plan, clearly saying they didn't. He sort of said it again today, stick to the game plan, as if now it's on you as players.
A little bit, but I think it's more in the sense of a focus. And I think it's focus on the simple football things. Don't focus on the fact if we win this game, this means this, or if we get 3 points here, then it's only another. It's just focus on the football. Of course you can't. That's why he's got to say these things to remind the players. Remember, the number one focus is the football. You know, of course you've got other things in the back of your mind. All these things can all exist at once, but it's where do you put the most focus? And I think that's probably a good reminder, just with some of those little basics that became a little untidy. And it's, you know, when you start a game like that and 1 or 2 of your players that you rely on, you know, the likes of Hasegawa that we see control games, the likes of Hemp that normally gets the better of the opposite fullback early on, that settles other people. But then it has the reverse effect when they don't have those moments early on, and then all of a sudden 1 or 2 sloppy passes becomes 5 or 6, and then all of a sudden the game becomes a little transitional, and then that's when the emotions that you've got underlying start to just bubble up. So, and I think that was a good point as well he made about Coffey, is the fact she brings a calmness to others. It's that sort of experience and leadership of the players you can put in different areas of the pitch that have that knock-on effect to those around them.
And he said it'll be one in central midfield today. What's he done? There was a piece in The Athletic this week talking about actually it's just a simple thing of listening that he's done.
Yeah, I think so. Look, we've always looked at Man City and not said they've underachieved, but we have looked at that squad and thinking, why aren't they doing a little bit more with it? They've sort of got everything that you think a team to go and win the WSL should have. And yes, coincides with a poor Chelsea, but there were elements last season where we thought they were going to go on and win it. And they lost Bunny Shaw and they lost a bit of a goal scorer and no one stepped up. So there are sort of mitigating circumstances. But for me, I do think he simplified it. I do think, especially in the forward line as well, when you've got such talented players, let them play. Give them freedom. And look, every manager has a different philosophy, but I felt under Gareth Taylor that they were quite hamstrung at times, the Manchester City forwards, and it was very much, this is philosophy, this is how we play, and everyone fits into this. And there's a time and a place for that. But for me, when you've got such talent in that forward line, let them go and play. He's given freedom.